Benimaru is known as Asakusa's King of Destruction because of the devastating power that he can unleash. He doesn't really concern himself with any part of Tokyo other than Asakusa, and as captain of the 7th Company, he vows to destroy anyone that dares threaten it. Apart from that, he's kind of like a glitch in the system in the world of Fire Force. Benimaru isn't just any pyrokinetic, he's the only person with the powers of 2nd and 3rd generation abilities, which allow Beni to create and control flames, which allows him to create destructive long-range projectiles or nullify and redirect almost any pyrokinetic attack. Orphaned as a child, his life took a dramatic turn when Hibachi Shinmon, the previous fire chief of Asakusa, adopted him and taught him his signature fighting style, the Iai hand sword, which allows him to further manipulate his flames with specific hand formations. He's so powerful that his biggest display of power is with himself. When his doppelganger was about to unleash an attack capable of destroying the entire world, he effortlessly defeated him with a single touch, implying he's capable of far more. Escanor is the lion-sin of pride in 7 Deadly Sins. At night, he's a frail weakling, but when the sun starts to rise, he turns into an unstoppable badass Giga Chad, the embodiment of pride. While everyone was affected by Estarosa's ability to paralyze anyone who bears any resentment towards him, Escanor isn't affected. He just stares him down and says, "Why should I resent someone so much weaker than me?" He then gave him the humbling of the lifetime. This is one of Escanor's best scenes, perfectly displaying himself as a character. Escanor was born 40 years ago as the prince of the kingdom of Castillo. As a child, his powers awakened unexpectedly, which inadvertently led him to being exiled and joining the 7 Deadly Sins. His main ability is called Sunshine. It causes his strength to increase dramatically throughout the day, increasing his power level to a stupidly high amount, allowing him to tank most attacks and cleave mountains in half. During Sunshine, Escanor can generate and control intense heat, which allows him to create miniature suns that are capable of evaporating entire lakes. At high noon, Escanor unlocks his ultimate form, the One, making him invincible for 1 minute. It's at this state he's able to overpower Meliodas in assault mode, tanking 1000 slices and only feeling an itch, and defeating him with a single slice. Escanor's only weaknesses are night and the time limit of the One. Gojo Satoru is known as the strongest Jujutsu sorcerer. His very birth caused curses to grow stronger, ushering into a new age of Jujutsu sorcery. He isn't just strong, he's practically unbeatable. Satoru is the first person in 400 years to inherit both Limitless and Six Eyes simultaneously, causing him to be considered as a glitch in the Jujutsu world. Limitless is a technique which allows him to control space at an atomic level, and allows for the creation of his signature abilities Lapse Blue, Reversal Red, and his impenetrable barrier. And with Six Eyes, Gojo gains perfect use of cursed energy, letting him abuse Limitless as much as he wants. Gojo's domain expansion is called Unlimited Void. It traps opponents in an infinite space of information, paralyzing them mentally and physically, and incapacitating them in an instant. As a high schooler, Gojo was BFFs with Geto. They were known as the strongest duo in Jujutsu society. While protecting Riko Aminai, he engaged in a battle with Toji Fushiguro, where he got absolutely smacked. He was this close to death, but somehow he managed to pull through, albeit tweaking a little, and came back with vengeance, creating Reverse Curse Technique and Hollow Purple in the process. The impact of the encounter with Toji would lead to the breakup of the duo, creating a turning point in both of their lives, with Geto turning to a dark path and Gojo assuming the sole title of the strongest. His breakup inadvertently led Gojo to realize his true goal of changing the Jujutsu world, breaking its corrupt system, and creating a new generation of strong sorcerers. Gojo's strength is continuously demonstrated through several impressive achievements throughout the series, including nonchalantly smacking all the disaster class curses, defeating over 1000 curses in 299 seconds, absolutely comboing Miguel, and almost achieving victory against Sukuna and Maharaga. While Gojo is practically considered unkillable, his overconfidence and arrogance exposes him to unforeseen risks and vulnerabilities, which are factors that could lead to his defeat. And that leads us to our next character. Ryomen Sukuna, King of Curses in Jujutsu Kaisen, is a formidable antagonist whose mere name strikes fear into the hearts of the Jujutsu world. He's the only person in the series shown to go toe-to-toe with Gojo Satoru, the modern era's strongest sorcerer. Sukuna doesn't really have any complex motivation or goal. His main objective in life is to cause as much chaos and destruction while doing whatever the hell he wants. Sukuna and Gojo can be seen as two sides of the same coin, with Gojo representing protection and Sukuna representing destruction. Even without Six Eyes, says. Sukuna's immense cursed energy reserves and masterful manipulation sets him apart from other sorcerers. After his death in the Golden Age of Sorcery, his soul was split into 20 cursed objects created from his fingers. Sukuna's primary technique is Cleave and Dismantle. These abilities allow Sukuna to cut through anything. Malevolent Shrine is Sukuna's ultimate ability, and it's the largest domain in the series, capable of destroying entire areas and decimating opponents the moment it's set up. Within the domain, Sukuna is able to abuse Cleave and Dismantle, which allows him to create a continuous barrage of slashing attacks. His sorcery is unmatched, but his intelligence and usage of Binding Vows are his biggest factor in his strength. Sukuna is just a beast overall, destroying any special grade that comes in his way. Reinhardt von Astrea is a sword saint of the Kingdom of Lagunica, and he's one of the most broken characters in this list. Pape, the author of ReZero, once said, if Reinhardt were to fight the sun, he would win. He isn't shown much in the anime yet I wanted to include him because he's so strong, it's hilarious. In the world of ReZero, there's this thing called Divine Protections, an extremely rare ability that you have a chance to be born with. It's like a quirk but very rare. Reinhardt has thousands of Divine Protections and has access to any ability he needs by just wishing for it. Some of his abilities include invulnerability to enemy projectiles, immunity to all poison, illnesses or curses, super speed, telepathy, regeneration, walking on water, and even cooking. The list just goes on. If he somehow managed to kill Reinhardt, he could just instantly revive himself with the blessing of the Phoenix and wish for an ability to counter whatever killed him, and he has tons more that are unknown. His biggest display of power in the anime is with his encounter with Puck during the witch trial. Reinhardt unleashes a slash so powerful that it destroys the entire world. Rimuru Tempest is the protagonist of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. He was originally a 37-year-old human named Satoru Mikami. After his death, he was reincarnated as a genderless slime. Despite his humble beginnings, Rimuru would quickly rise to become one of the most formidable beings in the new world. He has tons of abilities, and he's able to gain a lot more thanks to his primary skill, Predation, which later evolves into Gluttony. It allows him to consume other creatures and objects, amassing abilities to gain incredible attacks and powers. The biggest display of power is during the Harvest Festival arc, where Rimuru massacres an army of 20,000 soldiers in order to become a true demon lord and revive his fallen comrades. Rimuru almost has zero weaknesses. All Might is the top dog in My Hero Academia, the ultimate symbol of peace and justice. He got his crazy powers from the All for One quirk, which lets him pull off insane feats of strength, speed, and toughness. His biggest moment? Probably defeating the big bad All for One. That fight cemented his status as the world's #1 hero. All Might wasn't born special though. As Toshinori Yagi, he was just a regular dude until he got One for All's power from his mentor. His powers are nuts. His punches are so hard it creates shockwaves and can move faster than the eye can see. But even All Might got his limits. A nasty injury from fighting All for One seriously nerfed him, cutting down how long he can stay in his buff form. Despite the setbacks, All Might remains the gold standard for heroes. Saitama looks like an ordinary guy, but he's so strong that he can defeat any opponent with a single punch, and he claims his power comes from a simple daily routine of 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 100 squats, and a 10-kilometer run for 3 years. This extreme training created the perfect conditions for him to break his own limiter, giving Saitama the ability to grow infinitely strong, while also making him bald in the process. Saitama's biggest struggle is finding excitement in a world where no one can challenge him. He joined the Heroes Association for recognition, but even then he's often overlooked by other S-class heroes that he hangs around with. He can move at blinding speeds and leave hundreds of after images, and is also able to withstand devastating attacks without suffering any harm. He hasn't thought that being the strongest could be so dull. He's taken down Vaccine Man, Deep Sea King, Carnage Kabuto, and even Boros, all with ease. His biggest fight so far in the series is his confrontation with Cosmic Garo in the manga, where Saitama's strengths continued to grow to exponentially high levels. Yuwa is the Quincy King, the main antagonist of Bleach's 1000-Year Blood War arc. He stands as one of the most formidable characters in the series. As a father of all Quincy's and son of the Soul King, Yuwa possesses godlike powers, with his main goal being to end the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Born over 1,000 years ago, after a brutal war with the Shinigami, he was sealed away for centuries. However, he eventually broke free. Yuwa has tons of abilities. His most powerful ability is called the Almighty. It grants him the ability to see and alter all possible futures. This makes Yuwa seemingly invincible in all forms of combat. Additionally, Yuwa also possesses abilities such as absorption and soul distribution, which allows him to steal abilities and share his powers with his allies. Despite his overwhelming power, Yuwa has some major weaknesses that are easily exploited. His reliance on the Almighty makes him vulnerable to intricate illusions and strategies that can deceive his foresight. Sinbad is the legendary adventurer, known as the High King of the Seven Seas. He is one of the most powerful and influential characters in the world of Magi. Born in a small fishing village, Sinbad began his adventures at a young age, following his father's death. He conquered 7 dungeons, gaining immense power and influence. He's not even the main character, yet he has his own spin-off series dedicated towards him. Sinbad can use the powers of 7 different jinn, each granting their own unique ability. The jinn he uses the most is Baal, simply for its destructive capabilities. Baal grants Sinbad control over lightning, allowing him to create massive lightning bolts capable of vaporizing mountains. Despite that, however, Sinbad is another victim to overconfidence. As the strongest, he became arrogant, which left him susceptible to David's attacks and strategies. Meruem is known as the Chimera Ant King. He was born as the ultimate evolution of the Chimera ants, possessing extraordinary physical, mental, and regenerative capabilities, making him a terrifying force to go up against. He can literally gobble up opponents and absorb their powers. Meruem wasn't just another creature. As a newborn, he was able to demonstrate an innate understanding and control of Nen, which would usually take intense training to even use. His strength, speed, and durability far outclass any human alive. Even blinking can cause you to lose sight of him. He is so ridiculously strong that even Isaac Netero, one of the strongest Nen users in the series, had to throw everything he had, and all it had to show were just mere scratches. Apart from his strength, Meruem has genius-level intellect, mastering complex games and outsmarting opponents. Despite Meruem's overwhelming strength and growing intellect, his duel with Netero would eventually lead him to becoming a victim of the miniature rose bomb implanted within his opponent's body. Initially, Meruem survived the blast, seemingly without a scratch, yet the bomb's effects would still prove fatal in the long run. Mikey is the leader of the Tokyo Manji Gan and is most known for his incredible fighting skills and strong sense of loyalty to his friends. He has the nickname Invincible Mikey. Mikey possesses exceptional martial arts expertise, having been trained from a young age. He's able to engage in hand-to-hand combat with a remarkable skill. His signature move, Nuclear Kick, is a testament to this, capable of knocking out opponents with a single devastating blow. Beneath his calm interior, however, lies a darker side. His dark impulses, triggered by emotional trauma or loss, can make Mikey even more dangerous, as he becomes more ruthless and almost unstoppable. Mikey's primary weakness lies in his emotional vulnerability. The loss of his friends and loved ones makes him susceptible to despair and corruption. Goku is known as the strongest Saiyan warrior. He's saved the world more times than you can count, and even reached the power to rival the gods. Born as Kakarot on planet Vegeta, he was initially destined to conquer Earth. However, a twist of fate would instead lead him to become the man we know today as Son Goku. As a Saiyan, part of the reason why Goku gets so strong throughout the series is an ability called Zenkai Boost, a Saiyan trait that allows him to grow stronger after recovering from near-death experiences. During his journey to Namek, Goku repeatedly pushed himself to the brink of death, then proceeds to heal up and gain massive power increases. Goku's signature abilities include the Kamehameha Wave, his Spirit Bomb, and his various Super Saiyan transformations. These forms dramatically increase his power, with each new level pushing him beyond his limits. His strongest transformation is Mastered Ultra Instinct, a godly technique that enhances his strength, speed, and power far beyond the Super Saiyan. Giorno Giovanna is protagonist of JoJo's Golden Wind. His stand Golden Experience Requiem makes him the strongest stand user in the entire series. He's the illegitimate son of Dio and aspires to become a gang star in order to reform the Italian mafia from within. Born as Haruno Shinobana, his childhood was anything but golden. Life in Italy was rough, but everything changed when he encountered a mafia member who he randomly decided to save. Protected by the mafia, Giorno saw the potential for good in the criminal world and decided that he would be the one to perform it. This goal would set him on the path to reform Passione and eventually take on the boss himself, Diavolo. His original ability was to give life to inanimate objects and heal injuries, which is already pretty overpowered if you ask me. But Giorno's capabilities don't just stop there. When his stand evolves into Golden Experience Requiem, things get seriously unfair, as he is able to reweave the fabric of reality itself. It's basically a Control Z button, but a stand. He uses this ability to trap Diavolo in an endless death loop for all of eternity. For all his power, Giorno isn't invincible. Gold Experience Requiem still needs physical contact to work, so if you can keep your distance, you might stand a chance. Saiki Kuso from The Disastrous Life of Saiki K is the world's most powerful psychic, but all he wants is a normal life. Saiki's main goal is to keep his powers a secret and avoid standing out. But despite that, everything goes wrong. His arsenal of abilities are vast. He has telepathy, telekinesis, teleportation, memory alteration, mind control, blah yada yada yada. Surprisingly, one of Saiki's biggest weaknesses are bugs, specifically cockroaches, as Saiki cannot read their minds or predict their movements. And yeah, that's the end of the video. Like and subscribe for more.